Hello and welcome to a JobRobotix tutorial video. In today's video, I want to talk about how to test rules that you've created. So one of the big features within JobRobotix is the ability to run rules that either remove jobs or adjust information within jobs, block jobs from posting, lots of different things. But as we've seen in other videos, it can be a little challenging at times to make sure that you're doing it correctly or to figure out kind of what's going wrong with the rule. And so oftentimes you benefit from being able to test the rules and to kind of walk through a testing process to see why is a rule triggering when it shouldn't be, or why is a rule not triggering when it should. And so I want to show you how we go about doing that and how you can go about doing that too. So let's start with a rule. We already have a couple in place, and I've put some in place for this specifically. The rule I want to test today is this one. And what this rule is doing is it's looking for jobs that are RN positions that have a bill rate of less than 60, or RN positions that are also ER specialty that have a bill rate of less than 65. So something that fits in the middle here. And I believe we have a job example that's an RN ER position that's 62. So it doesn't match the first set of conditions, but it matches the second. I think that'll be perfect for this test. So if it triggers, then we're going to see the title have the specialty saved along with the words dash low rate. I don't know if this is something that you would ever do, but this is definitely capable within the rule itself. The last thing to note is that this is an export rule, meaning that this is a rule that's only triggering as the job is leaving our system. Okay, so we're going to start in the job itself, and I'll pull up the actual ID. It's right here. So as you can see, this is an RN ER job with a bill rate of 63. So we're anticipating that this rule is going to trigger. So I'm going to go ahead and test it right here. I should probably do that a little more slowly. Actions, test rule. There we go. And then in test rules, you have an option to pick data collection rules or export rules. And this is where it becomes important to know what kind of rule you're working with. So I think I've explained in previous videos that like a remove rule, for instance, has to be a data collection. A don't export rule has to be on export. But things like arithmetic or build can be either, depending on what you need to do. And this particular rule, it's an export rule. And you can see that on this column right here. So looking at this, what type of rule it is, it's export. And so you just got to make sure you click the correct one so that you know what stage you're testing. So coming in here, immediately you come to this result tab, and you can see what the job original value was versus after applying the rule. And you can walk through and see some of the different values as they change. In our case, there was no title before, so it's blank. And now the title is ER, the specialty, dash low rate. So that's exactly what we expected our rule to do. The other, and I think sometimes more helpful place to go, is trace. Especially if your rule's not triggering. But if it is, even we'll be able to see it here. This dark green background here is telling us that the rule did trigger and that it changed data as a result of it. So I'm going to click here. I clicked on the actual number itself and get this trace screen that pops up. Now, this trace screen looks a little confusing, but it's not as bad as it looks, and it's really trying to walk through the conditions. And so green means that a condition triggered. So this kind of bracketed value, rn.eq equals rn. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. So green. After that, if you remember, our first set of conditions was looking to see if it was an RN job that was less than 60. Well, 63, the actual bill rate for the job, is not less than 60. So red, it did not trigger. And it usually does twice because it tries lowercase letters and capital letters just in case. And in this case, since it's numbers, it didn't really matter, but it's trying both times. So red didn't trigger, but we had an or, and you had a second set of conditions. And so the second set of conditions was, is the job RN, is it ER, and is the bill rate less than 65? So you'll see, yes, it's RN. Yes, ER is equal to ER. Is 63 less than 65? Yes, it is. Conditions matched. New value telling us the value, ER, from the title, and the job data was changed. So this shows us several different moves that we can make here. Very, very helpful, and especially tells us that the data changed. And again, we can see that in the result tab. Now we're going to take a look at an example that doesn't trigger. So I have an example. Note that this one is an RN/ER job, but 65 is the bill rate. When I test the rules and test export rules like we did before, I get nothing popping up. These are all red, and if rules did trigger, you would see triggered yes. We can also assert but triggered no. And in this case, 8563 is our rule that we imagine should be triggering. So we're going to click on the number again and see why it's not. So does RN equal RN? Yes, it does, green. Is 65 less than 60? No, red. So the first set of conditions fail. The second set of conditions, though, or RN equal to RN? Yes. Is ER equal to ER? Yes. Is 65 less than 65? No, technically not. And so it doesn't trigger. And you'll notice that conditions didn't match. We don't see anything about a new value, and you don't see anything about job data changing. So that's what it looks like when something fails. And on top of that, then, let's suppose then that we imagined in our heads, okay, well, I said less than 65, but really what I meant was less than or equal to 65. Well, I can change that to this. I can save, and I can search again. And now you'll notice it does trigger because 65 is less than or equal to 65. So that's one of the ways to work through this. This also works with table rules or remove rules or any other kind of rules that you can come up with, and is a very useful tool for making sure that you are creating rules that work and also creating rules that don't affect more than you're intending to. Very useful to pick examples that you know shouldn't match but are close and be able to confirm that that it's not triggering on something that you're not intending for it to trigger on. So as always, if there's other things that you'd like to talk about or issues that you're having, please reach out to us at Get Help Support, and we'll be happy to help you. And otherwise, have a nice day.